Happy Sunday. Wanted to share something with you guys with regards to mindset and the type of mindset around money and wealth creation. But before I do that, I wanted to share with you guys my badges from pharmacy school. They look quite old, and this is one of the reasons I love coming home to Jamaica, because it reminds me of where I'm coming from, and I have to acknowledge the kind of mindset that has brought me to where I am right now. So there are two types of mindset when it comes on to wealth. There is the wealthy mindset, and then there's the poverty mindset. And I've seen so many pharmacists, especially international pharmacists. I'm an international pharmacist, so I can speak from that perspective. So focused on, they're so focused on the price tag and the payout that they're not focused on the payoff or the return that they would get from making an investment. So people who have a wealthy mindset, they think of value. People who have poverty mindset, they think about price. And so I'm seeing people, particularly pharmacists, who are quicker to spend a 30, a 40, or even a 60,000 Canadian dollars on a 2-year diploma, a master's degree, but they're so nervous when it comes on to spending $20, $30, $40,000 on career coaching. And hear me out. What keeps many pharmacists and many people in general poor is really focusing on price versus focusing on value. I learned somewhere along my journey that rich people are rich because they focus on value. They know the value of almost everything, and they know the price of almost nothing. People with a poverty mindset know the price of everything, and they know the value of nothing. So focusing on just price, it's very myopic. It limits you. It's very short-term vision. When you're focused on value and you're focusing on the ROI, what is the return that I'm going to get on this investment that I'm making, then you're playing the long game. And that's the game that you want to play. If I can invest $30,000 in career coaching and this position me to make multiple six figures, let's say I invest $20K. Let's be generous, because you need to have $20,635 in your bank account if you're going to move to Canada as a student. That's the bare minimum you need to take care of your expenses. So if you invest that in yourself, in career coaching, it might take you 12, 18, or even 24 months to make, let's say, $200,000 in a single year as a pharmacist. However, and that's a pharmacist in Canada, which, by the way, there are $200,000 per year offers waiting for you here in Canada. I say here in Canada because I'm not in Canada right now. I'm obviously still in Jamaica, but I'll be back in Canada soon. But the point I'm making is that if I invest $20,000, if you invest $20,000 in career coaching, in getting to your next level, that's a worthwhile investment. That's a worthy investment, because not only are you going to make back your money, but you're also going to 10x that money and build a better, brighter future for you and your family. You're going to secure your family's finances. You're going to have more freedom, more flexibility. So I want to encourage you guys to think value over price. As I said earlier, poverty is a mindset, and so is wealth creation. And the people who have a wealthy mindset, they think about the value versus the price. People who have a poverty mindset, they think about the price over the value for the investment. So that was my take. I was really reflecting on my journey, and how I got to where I am is by focusing on value and making investment in me, because I am my greatest investment. My greatest investment is not my bachelor's degree. It's not investing in a doctor of pharmacy degree. It's not in getting a postgraduate diploma, a 2-year diploma, a master's, an MBA, whatever it is, because investing in more education beyond a certain point doesn't necessarily give a great return on your investment. You are your greatest asset. You are your greatest investment. And if you understand the power of leverage, at a certain point, you can recoup your investment in a shorter period of time. So again, I want to encourage you guys to think about the value over price. Think about the ROI on the investment, because I've met so many pharmacists, international pharmacists, who are moving to Canada as students, paying $30,000, $40,000. I had one client who paid $46,000 for a 2 years graduate diploma in Canada, and that graduate diploma did not help them. Thankfully, with our coaching from immigrant pharmacists, that international pharmacist is now licensed to practice in Canada. But the point I'm making is they literally just wasted $46K, if I may say so. Because here's another perspective. That $46K could have paid for their relicensing process. That $46K could have covered their immigration proceedings, and in that will put them in a stronger position for them to take they could take advantage of the opportunities that are here in Canada for international pharmacists. They could leverage that opportunity. But instead, they move as a student. They are still working on the PR, but we've gotten them licensed as a pharmacist, which is an amazing accomplishment. It basically means that $46K that was invested to move as a student, which is, by the way, that's just for the tuition for 2 years. That $46K and that graduate diploma has been shelved. Because that graduate diploma cannot make them half the money they're going to make practicing as a pharmacist. So we have to be strategic. We have to be smart. We have to start thinking long term. Forget the myopic vision. Forget whatever stories you've been telling yourself for years. And I've met so many pharmacists. I had a pharmacist reach out to me recently, and she has been practicing in Canada since 2003. Mind you, 2003, I was about to start grade 9 in high school. And they're reaching out for me. I'm not tooting my own horn. This has nothing to do with me, because if it were up to me, I'd be hiding in a little corner, making my money, drinking my water, and minding my own business. But I am called to do this work. So this pharmacist has been practicing here since 2003. And she's like, listen, I need to book a career coaching with you because this money is not making sense. You know what I mean? So again, guys, I want to encourage you. If you already have a bachelor's degree, even if you have a doctor of pharmacy degree, which is a terminal degree, that's fine too. But if you have these credentials, leverage them. How about you invest in yourself and then leverage these credentials to get to the bag, to get to a more lucrative career, to get to the permanent residence, and then you can always go back to school if you wish. And for those who don't know, I'll share this with you. Back in January 2023, I was enrolled in law school here in Canada. I was at Queen's Law, got into Queen's Law. I took it, like I thought it was just a thing that you just apply for law school and you got in. And it was not until I realized there were so many people, they were angry and they were upset, and they were like, we've been trying to apply to go into this program forever, and I've gotten 3 rejection letters. I didn't realize that was a thing. Long story short is I got into law school. I spent a month in class. I figured that was not the path for me, because I'm really clear now about what it is that I aspire for my life, for my career, for my business, for my family's future. But I got into law school and it cost me $0 because it was a free trial. I call it my free trial because of I'm now a citizen, but because I had permanent resident status then, I was able to go to school, check out the scene, and I saw that I didn't really like what was happening. So I was like, no, this is not for me. If you're an international pharmacist or an international, like a professional, and you would like to go to law school in Canada, whether you're going to be doing a diploma or a master's, a LLB, a LLM, whatever it is, Masters of Law, JD, whatever they call it, you need to first pay the tuition to the institution, and you will not get that money back. And if you come and you don't like it, that's the end of the story. You're not getting any refund. You're not getting a refund. You also need to go and secure the visa. You need to have an affidavit of support. And you also need to show the government that you have $20,635 in your bank account, separate and apart from the money that you will be paying for your tuition. And that does not include your accommodation and, you know, all the bills and whatever that comes with living in a country like Canada, which the cost of living is pretty high. So again, I want to encourage you guys back to what I started with. Think about value over price, because the time is going to pass anyway. So whether you choose to invest in another institution and then stay stuck, or choose to stay stuck or start crying how hard life is, sometimes persons getting into these institutions are just paying for their punishment, which is quite unfortunate. And that's why I share this information with you guys. So if you know somebody who needs to see this, I'm going to save the replay, #replay. Please share it with your pharmacist colleagues, especially who are really taking the longer, harder road to get to the goal. You don't have to suffer. Suffering is optional. Do you need to go through the pain to get to the promise? Sure, but suffering is optional. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. We tend to forget the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, and all the things we went through to get the first degree. Then we're thinking, oh, it's okay for me to go back to school to do that again, but it's not okay for me to do that to get a license that's going to make me $200K or $250K for the year, or 10x my investment. When you pay an institution $50,000, that money goes up in the smokes. They're literally going to give you a piece of paper which you have to work your butt off for it, just like you had to work your butt off for pharmacy school. Nothing will be handed to you. So it's all about reframing your perspective. It's all about shifting your mindset. And people who have a wealthy mindset, people who are building wealth, who are building unshakable wealth, who are building generational wealth so that they can secure their family's finances and their financial future, those people are thinking about value. They ain't got no time to think about price. And I get it. We've been trained, we've been conditioned, we've been programmed to think about the price, the price, the price. Think about value, and I feel like that is the number one reason pharmacists are not able to charge for the value they're adding to the healthcare system. Because if health, wealth, and relationship are the three most lucrative industries globally, why are healthcare workers poorly compensated for the value that they bring? They think, oh, I'm going to be paid XYZ amount of dollars per hour. No, we should be charging for the value we bring to the hour, not the hour. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Leave that nugget with you. I hope it helps somebody. I hope it serves somebody. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.